Hi, 8th graders. Let's now look at some of the big ideas and big takeaways that we need to take from reflecting a shape over on a coordinate plane, looking at the x-axis and the y-axis for our various lines of reflection. So to start out with, we have shape A, B, C, D. With this, we are going to first start out with looking at the y-axis being our line of reflection. So just like we did in our last video, I am indicating where the line of reflection is, so that way I sort of have that sort of bookmarked in my mind. It's going to really help me. So now I'm going to just do a basic reflection of this shape over the y-axis. So I'm going to look at point A to start out with and look at it in comparison to the y-axis. It's 1 unit away up from the y-axis, so I'm going to find that point 1 unit away on the y-axis in the other direction. So it was 1 unit to the left, now it's 1 unit to the right. I'm going to label that up as A prime. And I'm also going to add its coordinate pair over here, so I can see if there's any rhyme or reason to how these points are changing. So A was negative 1, 1. A prime is now positive 1, 1. Interesting. If I look at this, the x values have just become opposite. Let's see if that still holds true for B. So if I look at B, it is 3 units to the right. That means I'm going to find B prime, which is 3 units to the left. So B prime is over here. So B was 3, 4, or is 3, 4. B prime is negative 3, 4. Interesting. It's holding true. The 3 became opposite of what it was before. C, it is 2, 2. It's 2 units to the right of that line of reflection, so I'm going to go 2 units to the left, and I'm going to label this up C prime. That means that new point is negative 2, 2. Again, the x value became negative. All right, what became opposite of what it was before, because the A value was negative and became positive. So it becomes opposite of what it was before. So the D point is 3, negative 3. And so its new point, because it was 3 units to the right, it's now 3 units to the left. So here's my new D prime point right over here. And that is negative 3, negative 3. So now I can connect the dots to all these points, and I can see this shape reflected-ish. I'm not connecting them very well. I need a ruler to really see it, but you can see that it's sort of reflected. There's a little wonky part. I apologize for that. But again, my x values all became opposite of what they were when I reflected over the y-axis. So the y-axis turned all my x values into opposites. So what I can say in this situation, the y value stayed the same, but my x value became negative x. So I'm going to write a little rule. My y value stayed the same, but my x value became negative x. So based on that sort of concept, we're now going to do a reflection over the x-axis. And if we're sort of following this rule, so the y-axis, the x value changed to the opposite. Now we're going to look at this x-axis rule, and I predict that the x value is going to change, or the y value, sorry, reflection over the x-axis is going to cause the y value to change, whereas the reflection over the y-axis made the x value change. So let's see if that holds true. Line of reflection is now my x-axis, reflection is now my x-axis. So I'm going to take all of these purple points yet again, and I'm going to reflect them over the x-axis here. So A is 1 unit up, so it's going to go 1 unit down. So A double prime is going to be this new point here, and that means it's at negative 1, negative 1. That's its new point. B was at 4 units up. Now it's going to go 4 units down. So I'm going to say this point right here is now B double prime. So B double prime is going to be located at 3, negative 4. Looking at my y values, my hypothesis is holding true. The y values are starting to flip, whereas before it was the x values that were starting to flip. So now C. C is 2 units up, so now C double prime is 2 units down from there, so I'm going to call this 2, negative 2. And lastly, D is 3, negative 3, and so it's going to go 3 units up to D double prime, and it's going to be 3, positive 3. So as I look at these, I'm going to connect the dots to all of these new points. Oh, I keep hitting buttons on my computer. Apologies. So we can now see that the purple shape has flipped and become the orange shape, and we can sort of see how it's flipped over the x-axis. So now looking at how those things changed, our x values over and over and over again, if we look at our x values, those all stayed the same, -1, -1, 3, 3, 2, 2, 3, 3. But our y values, the 1, the 4, the 2, the -3 became -1, -4, -2, positive 3. So our y values this time changed. So what we can say for our rule is this. Our x values stayed the same this time, but our y values became opposite of what they were before. So here is our big takeaway for doing a reflection on a coordinate plane over the x and the y axis. If you're reflecting over the y axis, your x value is going to become opposite of what it was. If we are reflecting over the x-axis, our y value will become opposite. So just sort of looking at how the x's and y's change in each of those situations. I hope this helps solidify some of these concepts that you just are about to look at in your lesson that you're about to do for lesson 3.1 for reflections. And if you have any questions, do not hesitate to ask. There's going to be one more video that's sort of embedded down below after you complete the must-do problems or after you complete the lesson for this. And that video will sort of give away the answers. So I'd really like you to try the lesson first before you check out that video. But that video will be very helpful for sort of checking your work. Thank you for watching this video, and I will talk to you later. Bye.